Hello, and my name's Robbie from the Bikepackist. In this video, we're going to be speaking about the difference between mechanical and hydraulic disc brakes. Let's go. So what are hydraulic disc brakes? So hydraulic disc brakes, where instead of using a cable, you use fluid. So when the lever is pulled, it pushes the fluid into the caliper, which closes the brake pads together and grips onto the disc. This is a very similar system to what you'd have in a car, and not only is it very easy to use, it's incredibly powerful and very reliable. What are mechanical disc brakes? So mechanical disc brakes work on a cable instead, just like a traditional brake. So when you pull the lever, the cable is pulled, which grips onto the sides of the pads, pulls them together, gripping the disc. This is a very simple system that's been used on bikes with rim brakes for many years. It's simple, it's effective, and it's very easy to work on. So the best way to compare these two braking systems against each other is to put it into sections. So we're going to speak about cost, assembly, performance, reliability, and general maintenance. So let's start with cost. So generally, hydraulics are about triple the cost of mechanical brakes. There's many reasons for that, but a lot of it comes down to the engineering and how they're made. Not only that though, you will find that parts such as the levers to control those calipers and also the pads are about triple the cost as well. So if you do have a big budget, then hydraulic brakes are going to be for you. If you do want to keep it nice and cheap, then you might want to consider mechanical brakes. Hi guys, so we're about halfway through the video. Subscribing to the channel really helps me, so if you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit the button. Then we have assembly. So when it comes to hydraulic brakes, you mount everything onto the bike, you put your cabling in, and then you have to insert fluid into the system and bleed it so there's no air left. This is quite a technical thing to do, and most people go to a bike shop to get this done as it requires a bleed kit. So then we have mechanical disc brakes. These are much easier when it comes to assembly. Chuck a caliper on, cut some outers, put a cable in, put it onto your lever, a few adjustments, and you're good to go. So as far as assembly goes, hydraulics are much more difficult compared to mechanical. So when it comes to performance, there's no denying that hydraulic brakes are better than mechanical brakes. They're much more powerful, they're easier to use, they're lighter on the hands, and when it comes to feathering them to avoid the wheel locking up, it's just much easier. Mechanical brakes are still pretty good, but they're nothing on hydraulics. I've used both systems when bike packing, and hydraulics I've always found much easier. Mechanicals I've always found much harder to use on the hands, and you always end up with achy wrists and hands after a day or two. So then we come to reliability. Between hydraulic and mechanical disc brakes, I can't really see any difference. They're both very reliable. In all the time I've been bike packing, I've never had one break on me. And obviously, when it comes to something as important as brakes, manufacturers tend to take a little bit more time to make sure they don't fail. So reliability wise, I'd say they're pretty equal. So then we come to maintenance. When it comes to hydraulic disc brakes, you have a very easy job of maintaining them. All you need to do is replace the pads every so often, which is quite simply taking the pads out, resetting the pistons and putting new pads back in. When you use them, they self-adjust, so no matter how much compound you have in your pads, you'll always have very good braking. So then we come to mechanical disc brakes, and these are pretty high maintenance. So not only when the pads get low, do you have to make adjustments to keep them working in a really good form. On top of that, you also have the cable inners and outers to worry about. When these get dirty and rusty over time, these are going to need changing at least once a season, in my opinion. So as far as maintenance goes, hydraulic disc brakes are just much easy to look after. They are very fit and forget compared to mechanical disc brakes. So which is for you, hydraulic or mechanical disc brakes? So in my opinion, I would still happily use both. They're excellent systems. If I was going to do anything extreme, which was off-road or of very long distance, I'd much rather be on hydraulic. They're just much easier to look after, and it's just so much nicer on the hands compared to cable disc brakes. There is still situations where I'd pick mechanical disc brakes over hydraulic. If I was building a bike and really wanted to keep the budget down, then I would definitely pick mechanical disc brakes over hydraulic all day long. And if I was going into a race which was a bit less aggressive, something like the race around Netherlands, which is very flat and mostly on roads, then again, mechanical disc brakes probably would be my choice. All in all, I think it comes down to personal preference. I can see the benefits of hydraulic disc brakes, and I can also see the benefits of mechanical disc brakes. If you ask me now which one I prefer, I would go with hydraulic. For the simple fact of it's what I'm used to, I've got all the tools to work on it, and I just love how sharp and responsive the brakes are. Years and years ago, when I was quite new to bikepacking, I actually really preferred mechanical. They were easier to work on, and I just felt there was so much more security in knowing I could fix them anywhere on the road without any specialist tools. So what are your thoughts on mechanical and hydraulic disc brakes? Let me know in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to hit subscribe on the Bikepackist. Stay cool, guys.